Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Joe Davis, Southern New Hampshire University, CJ 300 with the Module 4, Week 4 overview. Really just simple things. I wanted to make sure I touch base. There is no small group discussion this week. We do have discussion 4-2, and that's on methodology and bias. There is a video for that. It runs about 6 minutes, 6 minutes 25 seconds. I encourage you to take a look at it. In the reading and resources section, there are 4 videos. Okay, the first one is the Chicago PD murder statistics, and there is a mini lecture about that because that's part of the discussion 4-2. Okay, so 3 minutes 17 seconds. Good use of some statistical data, and it matches up with what we're studying in this module. Okay, underneath that there are 3 videos. They total 25 minutes on how to write a literature review. I have a typo there. I should have a capital letter or else a lowercase letter. I've commented on these. They were also in Module 3. They're not the newest ones. They're not the fanciest ones. But the content is excellent. And if you can find 25 minutes, it's a great overview. Okay, when you look at the textbook, the readings assigned, there are only 2 pages, and they're very short. I think it's 42 and 60, something like that. But don't hold me to that. Make sure you check. That's a bit of a misnomer because there is a video that's almost 15 minutes long about Final Project Milestone 2. This paper will be a fairly extensive paper. It is based on your annotated bibliography from Module 3. So if you completed that and I've gotten it back to you and you've made any revisions that were necessary, you're well on your way. Your paper is outlined. It's not a horrific assignment. This paper for 4-1 could range 10 to 12 pages. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, I have to write 10 or 12 pages. No, you probably have most of it written if you did the annotated bibliography in Module 3. Okay, the sample paper that I gave you is 5 pages long for 2 articles. You need to do 5 articles. Okay, so don't forget you have to do 5 peer-reviewed articles. Someone questioned why I emphasized that way back in Module 1. The first assignment you had in Module 1 was to review the final project guidelines, and it talks about peer-reviewed articles. And so it's catching up with you now. We're at the halfway point. I do have one other video that I will post for you. It is what I call an enrichment video. There are no points for this. There's no extra credit for this. This is just something that I think is tremendously interesting and of value. It runs about 24 minutes. It's a TED.com talk, so it's very dynamic. Dr. Philip Zimbardo talks about the psychology of evil. In the readings on page 42, in the text, the author talks about ethical controversies, and it uses the Stanford prison experiment as an example. Many of you are probably familiar with that. If you're not, Dr. Zimbardo was the curator, the organizer, the director, the accomplice for the Stanford prison experiment, which had a lot of problems, classic in the literature now. Okay, you get to hear him talk about it in this presentation and show video of it. Dr. Zimbardo was also a consultant for defense attorneys who represented soldiers in the Abu Ghraib prison incidents in Iraq. The parallels, even though they're more than 20 years apart, almost 25 years apart, are frightening almost. What Dr. Zimbardo's Stanford prison experiment showed, those soldiers did almost exactly in Abu Ghraib. The photographs are haunting to say the least. So he also talks about for the life of me, I can't think of the other where they shock people, but they're not really doing it. I can't think of the Hawthorne experiment. It's a good 25 minutes of time if you're just not familiar with this. Okay, I hope that helps. Keep those cards and letters coming.